My name is Steve Doig. I'm the night chair in journalism here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at Arizona State University. I make no claim that journalists deserve any kind of special access to public records. The problem with special access is special access can be taken away, and so I'm a strong believer that this is actually a public interest issue. It's not just a journalism profession interest. And there are any number of reasons why just regular members of the public might want to be able to get at public records. An example I've used before is you're a suburban parent living in a neighborhood where there's traffic on your street nearby through an intersection, and your kids walk to school, and you want to make an argument that a stop sign ought to be installed, and to be able to go to the city council and argue for a stop sign to be installed to slow the traffic down. You want to be able to bring in accident statistics, information about the number of people who've gotten speeding tickets or who haven't, despite what apparent speeding is going on there, and so on. I mean, that's an example of it. You're a person who's thinking of running for the local school board, and you want to be able to be able to say something intelligent about the operation of the schools. Well, you need access to information, statistics about how the schools are running, and budget information, and so on. All those things are as available to Joe Blow, the member of the public, as they are to any reporter, or should be. One of the sort of things that has helped open up a lot of government data is the World Wide Web. Particularly local government began seeing that it's actually it's sort of cost-effective to take data and put it on the website, instead of having to have a bunch of clerks in the basement of the courthouse to deal with the people who have to come all the way to the courthouse and request paper documents and get copies that way. So more and more agencies are putting various kinds of documents. You can, in many places at least, you can readily go and look up your property tax records. You can look at court records, restaurant inspections. I mean, all sorts of things that government is doing and creating paperwork on. More and more is actually put on websites. So that's I think a positive thing. Also, over time, the press has been, I guess I would say, aggressive enough about not taking no for an answer that they've gone to court to fight for particular documents, created case law that has helped deal with those fights. The state where I used to work in Florida, had so many of those with a very active and aggressive press corps that Florida now actually has a great reputation as being a state that pretty routinely will answer public records requests, because they've already lost the court fights to not give out something. So it's I think it's generally positive. There are still certainly holdouts. Here in Arizona, I've seen everything from agencies where I request something and they say, sure, how do you want it, to agencies that fight tooth and nail to make it sound like it's this huge burden for you to even be asking that, and then you have to, as I say, escalate. I've certainly had a number of stories that were possible only because we could get public records, and particularly databases. My specialty is analysis of data, and everything from the aftermath of Hurricane Andrew, our project that looked at that, sort of the question of, was the destruction from Hurricane Andrew back in 1992, was that an act of God or our own stupidity? And we were able to tackle that because we could get the databases that showed the extent of damage in each of 80,000 homes, and the information about all those homes from the property tax roll, which is a public record, and the building inspection records, millions of building inspection records, all those kinds of things. That kind of story couldn't have been done if it was just going to be interview homeowners who were angry that their homes were destroyed when we'd been told that we had the toughest strictest building code in the nation, and then going to the contractors and having them say, well, nobody could build homes to withstand these horrible winds. But by being able to, look at the records, measure the locations of it, look at the patterns of it through these public records, we were able to get beyond that sort of finger pointing and really lay the blame to, in fact, what had happened is we had weakened our building codes over about a 20-year period to the point that when the big one finally came, it trashed South Florida. But any number of other stories that I've done, whether it's looking at criminal justice or immigration or any of those other kinds of things, have relied on the ability to get these kind of records and use them.